hello and welcome back, everyone, to, it used to be Lost Minds of Fandelver, but now it's Rime of the Frostmaiden, a Twitch experiment. Why experiment? Because we're trying things and we're learning a lot. And with any sort of experimentation, more often than not, we learn the way not to do things. Isn't that right, guys?
That is right.
Yes.
Correct.
That is correct. So what we are is, there's 6 of us. Yeah, there's 6 of us. We are, if this is your first time joining us, we are 6 happy-go-lucky D&Ders from way back in the day before D&D was cool, and we're just sharing what we love in our own strange manner. I am your storyteller for the evening. I am DM Charlie, as evidenced by the name just below me right there. And we will start introducing the guys. To mix things up this week, let's start in the bottom right-hand corner with the fellow right below me, Johnny. Johnny, tell us who you are and who you are playing, please.
Hello all, I'm Johnny. I will be playing Teal, the Oath of Vengeance Dragonborn Paladin.
Thank you very much, Johnny. Forrest, our sorcerer, Teb, the halfling, Tebian, will be joining us later, hopefully after the break. He is the big blank spot down there between Johnny and our next player. Bill, take it away, sir.
I am Dice Hall. I am the swashbuckling halfling. I run under and go for ankles. Residential ankle biter.
No. All right, here we go. Yeah, give you one of those. Did you guys remember to log into Sirenscape today?
I
Yes.
did.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
I have no intention of using it. You don't deserve my No, yes, I do. And next to Bill, we have a good friend of mine, real buddy, John. Who are you playing, John?
Como está? I am John, playing Jahan, a Wood Elf, Way the Long Death Monk. Good evening, everybody. How are you?
I have been meaning to ask you, what exactly is the Way of the Long Death?
The Way of the Long Death is it's one of the monk subclasses that allows the monk to stay alive as he kills people by getting temporary hit points.
Gotcha. The tough. Have you seen the feat that comes later? I believe it's in. Is it durable? I believe it is. That when you roll your hit dice, you get a minimum of 8.
I don't know if I've heard of that one, but I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, it's in there. I was doing some stuff with another group, playtesting some variant rules, and had a character with that. And yeah, we were doing a little bit higher level, but at 15th, I had 184 hit points. So for all of you out there in Twitch land, yeah, look it up. It's a great feat. And the other person with whom this entire thing would not be possible. I mean, the guys are all, of course, part and parcel of it. But my good friend, Chuck. Who are you playing today, Chuck?
Hey, good evening. I am Warrior, playing the half-elf dragon-marked cleric of House Medini. He is a Tempest cleric, so he's not your typical keep everybody alive. He just keeps people alive by helping getting others dead quick. So happy to be here tonight, and looking forward to another D&D session. Thanks, Charlie.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, the best defense is a credible and violent offense. Well, when last we left off, 2 weeks ago, you were heading north with Helka, heading towards Engajuck's Bell, because you were going to seek out some whalers to purchase whale oil for sale back in the 10 towns to the south. Actually, let me move us to the map of Icewind Dale. And on the way, you had come afoul of a band of raiding orcs. You had witnessed something. Would anyone care to reiterate what was witnessed for those that may just be joining us this week?
I believe we saw a streaming light, like meteor, that lit up the sky and crashed to the south, far away from us. But it was spectacular in color and got everybody's attention.
Absolutely.
And also looks differently through the dragon glass.
It does. Where there was no visible light, when you used the dragon glass, you saw that there was still some sort of strange radiant glow reminiscent of domes of strobing energy there far, far off in the distance to the south. And you can't really see it because I'm super clever and I hid most of the travel map because, you guys don't have the internet and can't look this up. So, yeah, but way to the south, probably a good couple of days' journey by dog sled. You continued northward to the sea of flowing ice, upon which you found the legendary landing, Angajuck's Landing, where you found that bell, and you were beset upon by some giant vultures, and then by some hunters who, they were, get out of our way, we're going to harvest the great whale. A small scuffle ensued, and then you were able to best them, and then the mighty whale, this huge, word I don't want elevated, awakened sperm whale arose from the icy flows with a strange-looking boat strapped to his back. He was also accompanied by some narwhal buddies. And when all was said and done, he seemed like, all right, you've earned my trust. I'll do what you want. I will take you out to the flows to find these fishermen for the fish oil, and you can conduct your trade. All right, the half-elk merchant, Helka, looks at the four of you, Teb standing by, offering to guard the sled dogs and stay in the tiny hut there at the landing while you ride out with Angajuk into the flows and conduct your business. What, perchance, do you discuss? What preparations do you make before heading out?
I ask that we possibly take a short rest before we go. Does anybody object?
I do not.
I have about a third of my hit points now.
I'll go with a short rest if you need one.
I'm good with a short rest.
Cool. And Mr. Dungeon Master,
Mr. Player.
I would like in some fashion, I don't know who out of the group could do this or try this, but I want to be able. So, did you ever see the movie They Live with Roddy Piper and? Yes.
Who has it?
I would like to create a pair of glasses out of dragon glass. Who could I have do that for me?
Oh, excellent question. You might be able to find a craftsman in one of the 10 towns. Obviously, the ironworks in Bryn Shander, the quality of those products were sturdy but without finesse. And you think maybe the fine work of a set of spectacles might be beyond him. It could be something that you need to find a specialist, or maybe a dwarf, or even better, a gnome. At this current juncture, you're not really sure of anyone that you've met in your short time here in Icewind Dale.
That's what I intend to do with 12 pieces of glass. Is I'd like to make all of us, even if it's like removable ones or just something. So.
All right, cool, perfect. I will keep that in the back of my mind. Okay, Angajuk. When you say that you want to rest before traveling, if a whale could sigh, it's pretty certain that he sighs like, this is acceptable. We will hunt on the bottom and feed and return when the sun is there. And his massive bulbous head kind of moves to like that light spot up in the clouds and that omnipresent twilight. And you're like, what? What sun? And with that, the mighty beast submerges along with those narwhals. Go ahead and use your hit dice that you are going to use to restore hit points. And no warlocks, so nobody's regaining any spell slots. Horchata, gift of the gods.
I am good.
Right on. Let's see. While we're waiting, let me do some shout outs to our friends out there in Twitchland. Hi, One Killer Quitten. Asking Bard, good to see you. Dello TX, looks like you're new. Droop Dog, good to see you again. Mitch, excellent to see you. Trixie. And then the rest of it is just us. I think we're just going to have a nice intimate game today, which is cool. Doesn't always have to be.
Not bad. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Especially considering that I don't have anything but gigantic revelations planned for you.
I have an idea.
Oh,
Since Forrest is not here, we can let we can let those in the stream, in the Twitch stream chat, play his character.
this is a very dangerous precedent you're setting.
Hey, it's encouragement to show up on time.
It really is. It really is. But hey, we're all a casual bunch. Okay, you finished your long rest, and then up comes Angajuk, and he bids you climb aboard his back into the vessel. And I am looking for your art. Please be patient. Talk amongst yourself.
Hello.
Hi. Do you come here often?
Yeah.
Every week or so?
I'm a snowbird.
So
you guys hear me? There we
so
go.
from October to March.
Right. Yeah.
Chuck moved from Phoenix back to the cold Northeast.
I did.
Because he's a smart man.
Yeah, because Phoenix is a
Devil's armpit.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, so you climb aboard the ship strapped to Angajak's back, and as you do so, a magical blister forms over the. Can I zoom in on this for everybody out there?
It's
There
kind
we
of
go.
cool.
Yeah,
Just say a
blister.
magical blister.
A magical blister. A protective, hermetically sealed bubble of arcane energies seals you in, and the huge whale dives beneath the ice and begins swimming slowly with great strength through the murky depths to the north. Overhead, you watch and you see those inverted icebergs and towers and stalagmites of ice that lead down into the chill water. You see fantastic shapes swimming by, most of them medium-sized. Here and there you think maybe you see a large shadow of possibly a massive sea mammal or maybe another whale. At one moment, you see off in the distance a shape, long and tentacle-like, huge, that Angajuk seems to regard before swimming a wide berth around the creature. Time passes, and it's chilly but not cold as you find yourselves completely taken by this otherworldness of the submerged world beneath the ice. After some time, the huge whale slowly rises to cracks and fissures overhead where the brightness shows that there's access to the surface world. The whale breaches loudly, and the bubble comes down. And then what you are presented with is a small flow with a tiny camp. And let me move us there. Alright, I will put you out onto the ice.
Those guys are friendly.
Oh yeah. What could go wrong?
Oops. All right. As you alight onto the ice, Helka kind of standing and looking around the camp, you see that the camp indeed is a fisherman's camp, but it seems to be deserted. Like the small ring of stones where a fire was built is hours cold, and the equipment is flapping in the wind. When suddenly to the north, you hear a loud croaking, a huge kind of hooting bellow from the flows above you, and you hear shouts of worry and concern. And you see, let me zoom out, north of you, 3 massive bull walruses, each the size of several large oxen, 18, maybe 20 feet long, bellowing and moving menacingly towards 3 trapped whalers that are out on the ice floe as they huddle near several large humps of piled ice and snow. What would you like to do?
So the walruses are closing in on 3 whalers.
Correct.
Do we like whalers?
You've come here to conduct trade with them.
Yeah, we need their help.
To entreat.
And I suppose we should offer some assistance.
Yep.
The walruses have kneecaps.
I think 4 of them.
Spit out by a walrus. Did anyone hear the dun 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 sound play?
I did not.
I'm hearing like organs or something right now.
I don't have the sound in the.
I thought I had that fixed. I thought I had those fixed. I apologize if they do not play.
I have the Twitch sounds turned off so that I can not have backflash.
Yeah,
Reverb.
Of the repeat. Alright. Let me put us into initiative. Alright, and I'm taking those out. Those aren't actually thugs.
They're thuggish whalers.
They were actually there just for the...
These are very dexterous whales. They're walruses.
Alright. Whoop, I gotta clear it. For some reason it had it from,
Oh, less dexterous.
Yeah, there we go. It had last week's on there. Okay, perfect. Now we will sort. Alright, you see the whalers are, under implicit threat from the massive walruses. Dragonborn, you have the initiative. What would
Wow.
you like to do?
Well, I'm gonna move to here. Nope. It looks like I may be in water there, so I will move to here. And I'm going to cast Toll the Dead on that walrus here.
All right. Go ahead and link that as a wisdom save. Let me open the walrus.
Yeah, I can link it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
Spell, Toll the Dead, and...
I'd just like to say to my wife who is watching, fourth monitor. Really need a fourth monitor. All right. Okay. Toll of the Dead. Wisdom save. DC 15 on the one to the left. All right. Perfect. Thank you. Good check.
Yep.
Wisdom save. You clap your hands and the sound goes rolling across the ice, and you see a small crack form as that booming sound slams into the massive sea mammal. The huge blubbery body kind of roils as though kicked, and you see ripples in the brown wrinkly flesh, and it lets out a loud bellow. Alright, it missed the saving throw. That is 8 if uninjured. The thing kind of turns and lets out an annoyed chuff at you, as though with its nearsighted eyes, those piggish black eyes, it takes note of you for the first time. Do you have anything else, Dragonborn?
That will do for now.
Alright, perfect. Thank you very much. We're moving right along. Halfling. One of these creatures is as big as the house you grew up in. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go house hunting.
All right.
Let's see. I'm gonna step up here by the big blue guy. Take aim at the one furthest away. And let loose.
All right. You knock an arrow and let fly. It sails out and punches right into the thick, blubbery flesh. However, the arrow does not sink as deep as you would have hoped, but the animal does let out a cry of pain as you see a treacle of thick blood and some sort of yellowish, blubbery fluid kind of gel and roll down the wound in its flank.
Awesome. I'm gonna step through Dragonborn here and attempt to hide
Okay.
in the snow.
Go ahead and give me your stealth. All right. Thank you very much. That is a 16 for you. All right. Walrus, which walrus? Okay, so to the north, the walrus right at the edge of the battlefield, in the battle space, lets out a large bellow. Just this. And the huge brute comes flouncing, flopping forward. 5, 10, 15, 20, ungainly on land, the body crashing with loud, heavy thuds that are reminiscent of the large beasts that you have faced in the south, the trolls and golems, the just massive, heavy creatures that you have come across. The whalers kind of cringe and cower, and you realize that for whatever reason they went out on the ice without spear, without blade, without weapon. Finn, what would you like to do?
I am going to move up to here, kind of behind this boulder there, and I will toll the dead as well on one that was just
Alrighty. Wisdom save for my poor little buddy there. The Tempest Cleric claps his hands and is rewarded with that loud bong, bong, as the sound rolls across the ice, blowing snow and chips of frozen seawater, sky high. It slams into this massive bowl, and you realize that this one is made of sterner stuff as it completely shakes off the effect of your magic. Do you have anything else up your sleeve?
No, that'll be it for now.
Alright, perfect. That brings us round to the Way of Long Death Monk.
So I am going to use. Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to use Step of the Wind. Now, answer me a question, Charlie. If my jump distance is doubled, what's jumping distance?
Jumping with a 10-foot run-up is a number of feet equal to your strength, and you can do a standing jump up to half your strength.
Right, so if my strength is a 10, I can go 10 feet.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to... Now, can I use my movement and then movement as an action and then bonus action with Step of the Wind to get triple movement?
Yes, keep in mind that the way it works is you have movement, you have action, you have bonus action, you have reaction. So movement is separate from your action. So
Yes.
you can move, you can do your bonus action, and if that gives you more movement, then you keep going.
Okay, so I am going to move 45 feet as my action.
Okay. Where are you moving to?
So I am going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to jump 10, 8, 9 to here.
I'm not. There we go. As soon as you land on the ice floe on the other side of the crack, give me a dexterity saving throw as you realize that this area of flow has not been sanded by the whalers and presents difficult terrain. You are easily able to keep your feet, but you realize that you will have to be much more careful as you traverse the slick, snowy ice.
Okay. Then as my movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do you want another dex roll?
Well,
'Cause I
difficult
jumped.
terrain is half
Yeah,
movement,
you have
so you would
movement.
have 5.
Oh, okay. From here, this is difficult terrain.
Correct. All of that is difficult terrain.
2, 3, 4, 5. And then I get another 5 on difficult terrain because of my bonus action.
I'm not sure how that works, but I'm gonna allow it just to keep things moving.
Okay, I'm gonna hop.
All
That's 3, 4, 5. And if you want me to roll another dex because I jumped
Yes,
over
please.
another
Yes,
cast.
please. You are trying to beat a DC 15 to keep your feet and not fall prone. Quite easily, the half-elven monk hits the ice and spins and just keeps sliding. Copyrighted name of an elf who did those things to big elephant-like creatures in a very famous movie that came out about 8 or 9 years ago. So, anything else?
And as I hop the chasm, I'm gonna scream furiously at the big bull walrus
Are you
and
trying?
wave my hands, trying to
Okay.
get his attention.
Perfect. Give me an intimidation roll trying to draw the ire of the massive sea creature. Your intimidation is a 7. Walruses ain't too bright. Cuckoo Cachoo meets it beats. The walrus looks at you and it gives you a look that you can only interpret with, "I'll get to you in a minute." All right.
Thank you.
The walrus that you told the dead turns and flumps towards the sea ice, the crack, where the other 3 of you are waiting by the camp. The huge body booming on the ice. It lets out a loud, challenging bellow of rage. Okay, the other walrus that your toll of the dead did not hurt, but the arrow did. Let me zoom that in so people can follow the action. It too looks back and forth between the hated whalers and the newcomers, the interlopers, and it seems to be making up its mind. And it seems as though its original rage is going to receive its ire, and it too just glumps up towards the north and the whalers. We are back around to the Dragonborn. What would you like to do?
And you said this jump would be a strength save?
Dex, no.
Dex.
You can jump with a 10-foot run-up. You can jump a number of feet equal to your strength score. If you are just doing a standing long jump, it is half of your strength score. On the other side, you will need to make a dex save.
Okay. Instead, maybe I am gonna bonus action Misty Step from here to this location here. I believe that's within 30 feet, right?
All right.
Yep.
Very nice.
So I am going to Misty Step to here.
The Dragonborn fades from view and appears with a slight bam behind the massive walrus that is charging towards the now two of you.
And I will take a swipe at this beast with my longsword.
You lash out with the blade, and it does. It finds a target inside the brown, crinkly flesh, cutting open a large wheel. Roll damage.
And with its hit, I will invoke Divine Smite. Level 1. No.
Poor walrus. Alright, it just wanted to talk about cabbages and kings. Your weapon cleaves into its back, opening a large cut, and you see the thick, blubbery flesh underneath begin to bleed and flow, and it lets out a massive bellow and begins to wheel around to face you.
And with my second attack, I will stab at him again.
Your longsword punches into the walrus a second time. Roll damage.
And again invoking Divine Smite.
There is another loud fluorescing boom as you drive your blade deep, deep, deep in between what would be the shoulder blades of the massive brute, and with a crash and a thud, the walrus drops dead.
Very
Nice.
good.
Anything else?
Not at the moment.
Alright, perfect. Halfling!
You're muted, bud.
My apologies, that would be me. If I do a cold shot to the back of its cranium as it's walking away, what would the difficulty of that be?
I would give you disadvantage to do a called shot. They don't really have called shots in 5e anymore that I am familiar with. If I am wrong, and somebody out there in Twitchland knows, please by all means correct me.
That's the way I've always heard it, Charlie.
Cool.
Then I will attempt to do a cold shot to the back of its cranium.
Alright.
Can I ask a question why you would call a shot to its head? Does that give it a crit?
Well, it hit in the body and it did less damage.
Oh, I understand.
So I'm trying to go for a meteor spot to see if it does standard damage.
I get it.
9.
The arrow sails out and literally tink off of the back of the walrus's thick, blubbery neck, and it lets out a gurgling noise as though, what? What? What was that? Do you want to try that again, Dicehall?
Always.
Right? Yes, unacceptable. I have to fix those sounds.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I will figure it out. I swear to God. Okay, alright, let fly with another arrow as the halfling drops to the snow, knocks an arrow, lets fly, and this time The arrow stabs right into the back of the creature's neck, and it lets out a loud gurgle as you are rewarded by that mixture of blood and yellow ichor that comes oozing out of the wound. Radiates. Okay, anything else, Halfling?
Standard cleanup through Finn.
Alrighty. Let's see, moving back. And Walrus. We're down to the Walrus in the north. The Walrus makes a choice, looking back and forth with a loud gurgling. And it turns, this huge brute, and plumps forward towards the monk. Those massive tusks, each a yard long, as the creature rears back, its body rising 6, 7, 8, 9, a full 12 feet in the air, as this avalanche of blubbery brown flesh comes crashing down towards you, John.
I don't know if this was such a good idea.
And Jahan, AC 17. You twist out of the way of one of the tusks as the second one comes down and gashes down the front of your body, ripping you from shoulder to abdomen. The massive tooth doing an unbelievable 8 points of piercing damage. Your blood steams in the chill Arctic air. Finn, what would you like to do, cleric?
I will cast.
Finn will smash.
I'm gonna. Yeah, they're a good little bit away, so I think I'm gonna have to use some sort of ranged attack.
I just saw what you wrote, Johnny, as they don't have any knees.
I will cast Guiding Bolt at this one.
At the one. Okay, perfect.
So 17.
Very nice. The magic flies from your fingertips, slamming and cooking into the big blubbery body. You are awarded with a smell of burning fat on the wind, and you hear the creature roar in pain. It seems as though maybe it's starting to appear bloody, like maybe it's had enough of this fight. Anything else, cleric?
I'm checking. Yeah, I'm gonna move a little closer here, and bonus action. For whatever reason, I can't grab my token though. So.
Let me.
Oh,
How about there? Can you move it?
I can. I'm good now. Yeah.
All right, perfect. That's it? Just moving? Or you...
No.
Okay.
I just needed to get close enough to cast Healing Word on John.
All right. Healing Word away. You say the words of power, and Jahan, you feel the warming, familiar magics from your companion Finn begin to stitch the wound that crosses your chest and midriff.
Thank you.
All right. Monk.
I am going to take a swing at the walrus with my mace.
Every time.
27.
You lash out with the mace at the massive skull, fully 2 feet across. You brain the brute. There is a satisfying crack, and the beast lets out a gurgle of pain and battle rage.
I am going to use a key point to attempt a stunning strike.
All right.
Constitution, but I don't have like SDC. What is that? What is that Constitution saving throw? Like, I know it's proficiency bonus plus what?
Plus 10, and
Oh.
yeah.
Just my proficiency bonus plus 10.
We'll do that for now. Yeah.
13.
13 on a con save for the poor walrus. 13.
Oh,
With that loud crack, it is though the walrus felt nothing other than the bashing damage that you just put into its head. Its bell is rung, but it's not stunned. It does this for fun all day.
I'm gonna take another swing at it.
All right.
15 for 8.
You lash out with the mace, catching the huge whiskered muzzle, and you see some of the flesh and whiskers fly as the brute, bloodied and scarred, just turns back to face you, and you're spending another key
Another
point.
one. Yes, please.
Oh boy. You know,
13.
you realize World Wildlife Fund's probably going to come after us for this.
What is going on?
Old Man Walrus! You realize that he is protected by an aura of sealing wax. Nobody get that? No one? No.
I am going to spend yet another key point and do a flurry of blows with an unarmed attack. 2 unarmed attacks. 21 and 25.
I have this image of this 120-pound elf, this skinny twig of an elf, just like, die! And the walrus is like, duh. All right. You realize if you can't take him down before he gets to the ice, you just created a recurring enemy, right? All right. Both your fists lash out and punch into the blubbery body. It's like hitting, a 1.5 tons of frozen, hardened meat as you just spack into that thick, blubbery flesh, and the brute lets out a gurgle of annoyance. Okay, anything else?
That is my turn. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. All right. This walrus slips into the water and then comes crashing out onto the ice. And that is the limits of his movement. We move back down to the southern part of the battle space, where the Dragonborn is standing over the slaughtered remnants of this huge, massive carcass. What do you want to do, Dragonborn?
I can move. It's all. This whole area is difficult terrain, correct?
Correct.
All right, fine.
Again, I think the sounds are broken, so Asking Bard, there's your sheep screech. One of the services I offer, here, I will do all the sounds. God forbid somebody play Cantina.
Teal's going to target the walrus that Jahan is engaged with, and he's going to hold the dead.
That is the walrus to the north, correct?
Correct.
Alright, I need to change my pointer color so it stands out more. There we go. Alright, so you clap your hands and that sound of the bell rolls across the frozen ice, splashing through the seawater in that small channel between the flows. And that is a DC 15 wisdom save for John's avowed enemy.
Please ignore the radiant.
Don't worry.
Please ignore all of it.
It is Jahan. You hear that dong, dong, come rolling past you, and your hair and your hood kind of get blown, and the walrus seems to just take not one whit of it, just like.
Wow.
I would like to give you a gift for 3 20s in a row. You know what that gift is?
You're muted.
Just saying.
You know what we need to get? We need to get like a sensor. A sensor button.
Yeah.
You're like beep 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 beep, and your damn beep 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 beep, and the shoes beep 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 on a sandwich.
Just get a piece of black construction paper that says "censor." Hold it up to your mouth and point at the screen violently.
All right, halfling. Come on,
Halfling!
do something fantastic, you short little dude.
Let's see. Distant.
Now's your chance. You can run in the tents and, like, rob them. It wasn't nailed down. No, I'm kidding.
You can't run into tents. You can only ran.
I have a joke about tents after he's done.
Hey, why not? I can't get the distance measured. I'm just gonna shoot.
Where
the
at?
one-
Where do you...
Where the monk is.
All right.
About 70 feet, 75 feet? Oh no, 85 feet.
Hike.
All right. The arrow comes sailing through the blustery wind and snow flurries. Jahan, you hear that, and you see the halfling's arrow stick right in the fleshy, bulbous skin of the massive walrus in front of you, and it kind of puffs out its chest, and the arrow pops right out onto the snow, a thin trace of blood on the arrowhead. What else you got, halfling?
I'm gonna advance a little bit up towards Finn and attempt to hide in the shadows again.
Alright.
Because it's best to just jump up and run away.
Absolutely. At your size, the best
Run away!
The best policy is to just avoid getting hit at all. All
Hey.
right.
The size of its tusks versus the size of my leg.
The huge brute, yeah, from the side, Jahan, you hear those wailers like, "Ye gods, watch yourself, man! Look out, elf! Oh, he's gonna attack!" And the huge thing kind of bounces forward, rocking, getting that massive weight going, and suddenly it rears back again. At the apex of its lift, the head turns high, and it lets out what can only be described as a battle roar. Just this massive, ear-splitting, and it comes down like the side of a mountain, straight for you, the tusks threatening to impale you.
Do the hairs on my body like I'm in a windstorm? That'd be
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, and it smells of anchovies.
Yeah.
Right? All right. One of the
Oh.
tusks comes down, catching you once again, ripping anew that wound in your chest and abdomen that was just healed by the cleric for 7 points of piercing damage. The creature lifts its head, and you are forced to kind of step back, and you realize that the piggish black eyes are reddened with rage and bloodlust. Cleric, what would you like to do?
I will jump across here.
Perfect
5
deck
feet,
save,
I can
please,
do that.
as you hit the icy flows.
Yeah. But not gonna go well.
And you slip as your feet hit the ice, unless you have anything special that prevents falling prone, etc., etc.
No, I just fall down.
All right, and you fall right onto your keister with a loud splat in the snow. You will sacrifice half your movement on the next turn to stand back up.
Great.
All
Do I
right.
get to cast a spell while I'm down here, or is that it? I jumped and that's my turn.
You know, there's nothing in the rules as written that disallows that, so yeah, you can cast from your back.
Yeah. Because all I did was take a little bit of movement here at this point,
Yeah.
and I still had movement left. Or do I use an action to stand up?
You would use an action to stand up, and then that, yeah. So you could lay on your back for the rest of this turn to cast your spell.
Yeah. All right, I can do that. From a prone position, I will cast Guiding Bolt.
Another guiding bolt. You say the words of power, calling upon your deity above. and the magic leaps forth from your fingertips, sails out towards the huge brute, slamming into it. Jahan, once again, you feel that heated sizzle of magical energy whip right past your hip and slam into the brute's body. You are rewarded by seeing a huge score mark, this blast on the walrus's chest, and it lets out a bellow of rage that quickly turns into chirrups of pain and surprise. Anything else, Cleric?
Oh. All good, thank you.
All right. Monk!
So I'm gonna tell my tent joke. So a guy walks into a shrink office saying, Doctor, I'm having these horrible dreams. I said, well, tell me about it. He goes, well, as I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming that I'm a wigwam and a teepee. And he said, relax, you're too tense. So I'm gonna attack the walrus in front of me.
No, you're not. You're going to sit quietly and time out for 5 minutes. Yeah, okay, you're going to attack the walrus. God, that was bad.
It was horrible. I love it. 19 for 8 damage.
All right, you lash out with the mace, the studded head ripping furrows of blood and gore from the walrus's massive shoulder. And as you do, you feel something give inside the massive body. You feel maybe an organ, maybe a vessel kind of pop, and the walrus stops in its frantic gyrations and suddenly goes still and then topples over with a crash.
Nice. And I am going to move. 1, 2. Is this half movement?
Yes, it's all difficult out here.
3, 4. And I am going to take my second. Now, question. With attacks, can I take my second attack on the second walrus?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the same target, right? Okay. Second attack with my mace for 9 points with a 24.
All right, having found the measure of the massive mammals, you lash out and your mace cracks right in the side of the jowl of that one more reticent walrus, and you feel enamel crack, those kelp munching molars in the back, and you see it fly out the other side as the huge head rocks away from your blow.
And that will be my turn.
Thank
you.
Right. The huge walrus seems to have had enough, seeing the other bulls inside of its, what's a group of walruses called? A pack? Tribe? A herd?
I believe it's a herd.
A herd? Have you heard of a herd of walruses?
A herd of walrus.
Well, of course I've heard of walruses. They're not uncommon. Yes, they are a herd.
Bird.
They are a herd of walrus. Seeing the rest of its small herd of bachelor males, it turns, it disengages, and it sidles towards the ice, and with a loud kersplash, the massive brute disappears under the waves. And almost as quickly as you began the battle, this fight is over.
Good job, guys.
Very.
Alrighty, allow the DM to regroup for a moment. Let's put some wind in there.
Hey, Charlie, if it's not too much of a pain, something happened to my Sirenscape, and I had... Oh, never mind. There
Did
it's
with
back.
mine too.
Okay.
That was me changing things. Oh, we have new folks who joined us. Let's welcome them in officially. Asking about Aiton. Hey, I recognize you. Becca Brain, good to see you. Welcome. And the Book Bella. Hi, welcome. All right.
Evening,
cool.
guys.
Yeah, good to see you. Yes. Where are we? Okay, so the whalers, with a clear sense of relief, just grizzled and besmeared, 3 humans looking like wind-chapped, their faces ruddy, and two of them walk over towards the massive walrus, and they pull out tiny skinning knives, and the third one approaches you, Jahan, and oh, thank you very much for coming. We had just come out here to see about putting some holes in the ice. We're putting lines down when these fellers cut us off from our camp and our spears, and we didn't know what we were gonna do. And good thing that you came. Good thing that you came. And you notice the other two are just going right at skinning the walrus, like starting to cut through that massive ivory, and they're like whistling appreciatively, like. Ooh.
I believe our a friend and a traveling companion needs to have some discussion with you, gentlemen.
Oh, so did you come out to do some trade? Is it? I assume you're after the oil.
I believe so.
Oh, well, quite excellent. I will head over and entreat with, is it the one standing down there by the camp? Is that a woman?
It is.
What be your name?
What was her name again? I always forget her name.
Helka.
Helka.
Yeah, Helka. I hope it's Helka. Out there in Twitchland, was it Helka? I think it's Helka.
It was Helka.
It was Helka. Thank goodness. You run 7 campaigns, you kind of get them mixed up in your head, you know? Yeah, Helka Jaggerath. All right. So he excuses himself and carefully picks his way across the slick icy. Hi-up! Jumps and hi-up! Jumps and disappears and hi-up! And you hear him like start to have a conversation with Jaggerath down there by the camp. What are you discussing? What do you want to determine? What is the party doing?
I'm going to thank these guys up here for skinning this walrus for us.
One of them looks at you and he nods and he's like, hey, least we can do. We would like some of the meat, though, if that's possible. I mean, we'll on a ton of meat here.
Meat. Take as much meat as you want.
Perfect. It'll keep us out here for a good many 10 days. We'll feed like kings to the rest of the season. And the other one's like, nah.
And the other one's over there.
They're looking at it like you can see the glint of avarice in their eyes at these massive prizes that you have just brought down for them.
Does it look like if we were to be wearing like the crampons that we would be able to traverse this area without it being a hazardous terrain?
It does indeed, TL. It does indeed.
Oh.
This slick ice, if you had crampons on your shoes, you would definitely be able to walk normally. Well, ka-chunk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do we all? I believe we all have
Yeah, we
that
all have
set.
them.
Okay.
You do.
Just for future reference, maybe. I'm gonna go ahead and put some on right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay. The Dragonborn plops his butt in the snow and starts strapping crampons onto the bottom of his boots. How about you, Dicehall? What are you doing?
It's not a horrible idea. Put some crampons on.
Alrighty. And Monk?
I would like to take the tusks of the walrus. How big are they?
Oh, they're easily 28 inches. They're massive. These were huge walruses. As walruses grow, unimpeded by human encroachment and habitat destruction.
I would like to
That's why I was letting those guys skin it. They can have the meat. We get the ivory and the skin.
Yeah. What were
Well,
you saying, though?
I was gonna say I was just gonna take my mace and crack it in the face and like break it off. And
No. You see that one of them pulls out a clever little wire with 2 rings and wraps it around, and he kind of does
he's
this
like
back and forth motion, kind of sawing through it. and it takes him a few minutes, but he is able to remove the actual tooth.
And I'm gonna say to them, I'm gonna yell at them and say, when you're done with that one, could you come down here and do this one too, please? Again,
Aye,
meat is yours.
Sure enough, we fully intended to. I mean, don't let ivory like that go to waste out here on the flows. And we use everything that we can. Not a bit of it'll go to waste. All right, Finn, you approach the camp where Helka is having a conversation with the leader of the whalers, and you see that she has made a deal for 6 casks of oil, and she is exchanging 300 gold coin that they come to a fair price. And the whaler kind of looks at you and he says, I happen to have several more barrels if you gentlemen would be interested in taking it off our hands. Good price, too. Only 25 gold sovereigns per cask. And Helka kind of looks at you and she gives you a look like, it will sell for a lot more.
Yeah, I can, if we have the means of transporting it back, if we have the room, then I'm happy to take whatever we can fit.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
He has 5 more casks. As you give one a test shake and you hear the oil kind of sloshing it, you realize they're about 50 pounds apiece. You have 3 sled teams, so you figure, 100. You could probably get 3 more and not be overloaded on the sled dogs and on Angajuk.
Okay, I'll pick up
3 it is, yeah.
All right, you exchange the 75 gold coins, and he thanks you very much, and then he offers to cook you walrus meat, roast you walrus meat, before you climb back aboard the waiting Angajuk and head back to the landing. What would you like to do?
Is it too soon to take a long rest from when we just took the short rest, or is this safe enough area to take a long rest?
You could. The tents are rather small, one of them being mostly supplies and the other one just being piled with furs and sleeping bags and things of that nature that clearly these whalers use, while they're here, kind of
Sure.
waiting for the ship to come back in with more oil and stuff.
Why don't we just go back and then take the long rest when we get back, so
To
we don't
10
keep
towns?
Angajuk waiting.
That's totally fine. You're right. That's probably a better idea.
Short rest
running.
one thing, long rest we might be stuck here a while.
Yeah, I'm running dangerously low on spell slots. I need to retune.
So we're
Alrighty.
taking a long rest here.
No, I think we'll go back and then
As lo-
once we reach the other side, if that's okay.
As long as our next destination is a town or some sort of safe haven, then I'm fine with that.
As long as we don't run across anything along the
have-
way.
Have you not met us?
I mean, we could certainly try to take a long rest here. I'm just worried about Angajuk getting mad at us.
We could ask
But-
him. He's
Yeah, that's true.
Or he can take you back to the landing, and there was the hut there.
Oh, that's true.
It's true too. Let's do that. Let's get back to the
Yeah,
landing.
let's-
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hey,
agree.
real quick question to those out there in Twitchland: is the stream kind of blurry, or is that just me?
Looks good on my side.
Huh.
Yeah, it looks clear on mine.
I'm probably just using too many resources. Always something that I do here. Used.
If only you
Um,
had a 4th monitor.
If only I had a 4th monitor.
Charlie,
Another
I'm gonna
128
That
gigs of
won't
RAM.
help his
Yes,
resources.
Charlie, I'm gonna ask the whalers how many, other than Angajuk, there were a couple narwhals, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were what, 2, 3?
3.
All right, I'm gonna ask him for 3, not to be cooked, 3 decent sized portions of whale meat, and then a big portion of whale meat. I want to give one to Angajuk
Walrus.
and one to Yeah. Sorry.
Walrus meat.
Yeah. And then
You
I
wanna
want to
feed
give one
whales,
to the
feed
narwhals
the
as well.
whales.
I want to feed the whales.
Feed the
Oh,
whales well.
okay. As they start cutting it up, what am I? What do you intend to do with it? Take it back to the 10 Downs and sell it to a tavern?
No. But again, I just want it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, they cut massive slabs of walrus meat.
Thank you.
For you. Yeah, and they're kind of looking at you quizzically. You approach the water's edge and you put the walrus meat towards the edge. Angajuk, you can see him kind of roll up in that large dinner plate size eye, regards the meat, and if a massive sperm whale could shrug, Angajuk kind of shrugs, and he comes up and then pulls it down and wolfs it down. The narwhals all seem not disinterested, more like dismayed at it, and they're like,
So they're not eating it?
no,
Just
and
Angajuk?
they swim away from the bloody red meat. A little.
Okay.
I think they eat fish.
They might.
All right. Do you climb back aboard Angajuk with your booty and swim back?
We do.
Yes, please.
All right.
Angajuk is so willing.
He is, with a massive splash. That huge protective skin drops over the vessel, and you begin the long journey back to the landing. As before, you are presented with just a myriad of diverse and unusual sights, and it begins to not occur to you, what has this hundreds, centuries old whale seen in his journeys? What secrets does Angajuk know? What stories could a creature such as this tell? And as you muse upon these thoughts and these ideas, eventually you see the surface begin to crack and crenulate again, and the lightness of the surface world when the whale broaches the water and brings you up back to the landing from whence you started. Alright, I'll clear off some bodies here. And you wanted to take a long rest at this point after you unload, correct?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Alright. Go ahead and long rest and update yourselves. Okay, Steve, all the same. Alright, let me know when your long rest is complete.
I'm good.
I'm good as well.
Perfect. Alright. You load up the dog sleds and prepare to journey south with, well, the approximation of the dawn here in Icewind Dale. And bring you back to the proper map. No yawning. Any word
Sorry.
from Teb yet? Or do we think that he probably won't be joining us tonight?
No word yet.
Alright, there you are. At the edge of the sea of moving ice. If you recall, it is to the southeast are the towns of Bremen, Targos, and Bryn Shander. And Bryn Shander is where Helka wanted to return to sell her goods. She loads up after you all wake up, and she's like, well, are we going to Get back.
Yep.
Here.
All
We
right.
probably should head to Bryn Shander.
Yes.
Then whoever wants to travel, feel free to travel and find your way back to Bryn Shander. The day is cold, but the dogs make good time, sliding over the ice as the miles peel south below you. As you continue on, you see off in the distance the lights of Bremen and the small tendrils of chimney smoke rising into the air, maybe 5 miles south of you.
I don't know that we need to stop in Bremen.
No. Isn't Bryn Shander to the east?
You realize you've lost your way, and you see a trail that kind of wends its way around a large, mostly frozen lake. On the far, far shore, you can see a small settlement that is new to you, and you see the dark, dark green gray line of what appears to be a forest.
Well, should we just travel along this trail?
Yeah,
Well,
Bryn
now-
Shander's down here, down to the south.
Oh, is it? All right, then let's go that way.
All right, you continue down the tradeway, the trail, following the Shanegarn River. Helka seeming a little bit annoyed that you had gotten lost. When you come up to the gates of Bremen and you see this small town, it is now just after noontide, and you've made good time. And you realize if you're to press through into the night, you can make it onto Bryn Shander without incident.
All right.
Step, and yeah, there we go. Right there.
All right. It is as dusk begins to fall and the sky darkens, and into the north, you see the lights of Oral dancing green and iridescent, the purples and golds that show the path of the Frostmaiden herself as she bathes Icewind Dale in everlasting night as you make it into Bryn Shander. All right, you come in by the north gate. If you remember, you knew that there was the north look. There was the black iron
Right.
blades. Let me move this. There we go. And the house. Helka seems intent on heading straight to the black iron blades as the one main mercantile in town to unload the oil. Did you?
I will. Yeah, I'll follow her. We have I've got the 3 barrels that we purchased, so we need to unload this as well.
Okay. Okay. As you slide up with the dogs outside the black iron blades, Garn comes out, the dwarf, with his sister Elza. They're bundled in warm furs, wearing thick mittens, and they look appreciatively at the oil that Helka has brought. And he counts them up, and he's like, "Oh, 9 barrels. That's a good deal there. So, what was the price? What we agreed? I believe it was 50 gold per." And she kind of nods with a smile, like, "Mm-hmm." And he beckons her inside as he leaves his sister to manhandle the heavy barrels into the store.
Is that the was that 9 including ours?
That 9 was including your 3.
All I suppose I will follow her in so that we can make sure we get our coin.
All right. He counts out all the coin, and she indicates that 3 were yours, and he slides you the 150 gold coin, 150 dragon. And he seems very happy to have 9 barrels of whale oil. Helka looks at it, looks at the money, looks at you, and says, well done. Thank you. Maybe if I have need of help, I'll find you, but I think I might take my coin and actually head south to Luskin, where it's warmer. I'm growing tired of the hard life here in Icewind Dale. Well, Morning Lord's blessings be with you. Good luck to you. Stay safe, Finn.
Thank you. And you as well.
She nods. She heads out the door, and she sees the 3 of you, and she just kind of gives you waves, just kind of like, oh, I'm done with you. You know, you were hirelings. I got my XP. I'm moving on. You are now... you are... Do any of you stop her or want to ask her anything before she heads off?
Wasn't she paying us for us to take her?
Didn't she pay you already, I thought?
Not that I remember. Does anybody else remember?
I don't recall.
Add 150 gold to that then, your payment.
Yeah, because it was either 25 or 30 a piece.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge amount.
Yeah, I maybe it was 30. So
Yeah,
it was like I said, it was okay.
150.
Alright.
That's 30 then.
Left to your own devices. I am going to give us a 10-minute break, it now being 6:30, halfway through the stream,
Awesome.
for you to figure out what you want to do. If you are out there in Twitchland, we appreciate you being with us. If you haven't yet, please give us a follow. And I would like to give a shout out to Sirenscape. Epic Games need epic sounds, sirenscape.com. Also to RPG Music Maker, who has produced some of the fine tracks that you've been listening to. And of course, Hero Forge, the folks that made our wonderful tokens down here on the board. Gotta give props where props are due. We will be back in 10 minutes. Thanks, everyone.
See you in 10.
Been talking all this time, and thank you very much, Asking Bard. The conversation was quite interesting. Tab was telling us that his daughter took third place at her gymnastics event, so you did not miss any actual storyline. Jahan and Tial, pick up where you left off just like 2 sentences ago. You are going to do what? Yes. Yes, you are a Black Iron Blade. Okay, excellent. Do you ask Garn or his sister Elza? All right. Elsa finishes moving those huge barrels of whale oil in completely like at ease. She just hurry up, and she's like, and I take the barrel and stuck. And as she wipes her hands, she goes, "Oh, it seems that you have some business with me, Master Elf. Do you have a question?"
That is a crafting
Inventor.
or maker of certain trinkets and or even any kind of spyglass, or someone who works with kind of trinkets, as maybe a gnome or a gnome, if that's even better.
A gnome.
Oh, one of the Tinker folk. Here in Bryn Chandler, the only person that fits that description would be Nimblefinger. He lives towards the southern wall. Rather clever fellow. Can be a bit of a curmudgeon, unlike most gnomes. But yes, he's able to make small items of the most clever and ingenious fashion, and he's also he's got the knowing of a lot of strange things.
That would be awesome. What was his name again?
Nimblefinger.
Nimblefinger. And you
Maxwell
said
Nimblefinger, yes.
does he have a shop, or he just has a home?
He has a home. You can't miss it. It's got a low door. It's only 1 story. The ceiling is not much higher than your head. It's built for someone of his stature. And there's usually an odd smell coming from under the eaves and near the windows. You can't miss it. It smells well, alchemical or like when my brother quenches metal. It's strange, and there's usually strange lights coming through the windows and weird cracklings. And but Nimblefinger's the one. Occasionally comes in and does trade for bits of metal, more precious metal here.
Thank you. That would be awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
I would like to take a walk with the paladin, and unless anybody else wants to come, I'm gonna try to fashion 5 sets of eyeglasses for us, if you guys all want one.
I think it'd be a good idea for us all to have a set.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jahan, who's going with you?
I know I'm going to Teal. If anybody else wants to come, they're more than welcome to. If not, we'll just go and talk to Nimble Digits.
All right.
Well, I'll join.
Excellent. The
Awesome.
halfling. How about the sorcerer and the cleric? Are you guys headed to the North Look to secure lodgings and meals, or do you just want to go as a party to the gnomes' quarters?
The cat I'll tag along with the group.
Okay.
You
Claire.
coming, Finn?
I'm with the group. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, perfect. All right, you head to the south, towards the southwest part of Bryn Shander, and indeed near some low hovels and whatnot, you find the as described house. It has cleverly designed slate shingles, and the walls are also made of like wood shingles, and it's all painted grayish blue. The door is all of 4 feet high, and the windows, for those of you that are medium sized, only come up to about your lower chest. It's very low. You could actually almost reach out and touch the peak of the building, and the chimney is maybe only a total of 8 feet versus the 15 or 20 of the surrounding buildings. And as the dwarf, as Elsa had described, inside through the frosty windows, you see the occasional like flash of light that reminds you of the lightning spells that Finn casts, blue and actinic, flashing up, and you see silhouettes in the windows, and you see a small hunched form through that frosty glass, right, who seems to be bent over a small work table, and every once in a while you'll hear like a zap, 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 and some muttering like, oh, no, that's not the case indeed, I just don't know.
Charlie, before we left, I would have wanted to take 10 pieces of the dragon glass with me so we could affix, or he could affix.
Absolutely.
So Jahan's gonna walk up and see the shortness of the house and the roof, and then he's gonna look at Dysol, and he's gonna look at the house, and he's gonna look at Dysol, and he's gonna say, if he ever wants to sell, this might be a good spot for you.
It's a little big.
Does anybody think they're better off talking than me with someone of this persuasion, or do you want me to just have at it and knock on the door?
I mean, I'm 6'6". I'm not getting in there very easily, so.
No. All right, I'll go up and knock on the door.
You got
We're
this,
just,
Gnome.
Gnome. Hello, Mr. Gnome.
All right, you knock on the door, and you hear a curmudgeonly voice from the inside. I'm closed! Go away!
We'll make it worth your while, Mr. Nimblefinger.
Now that you know my name, you hear like a scraping sound of like a stool being moved and tools being put down, and then you hear the wooden bolts on the door being drawn back, and the door opens a crack, and you see a bulbous nose and bright blue eyes that seem far too clever by half, framed in a almost cherubic face, and long salt and pepper brown hair, and a clever little Van Dyke beard. Perched on that bulbous nose are some little spectacles that have like an extra jeweler's loop on one side. He's wearing a leather apron, and he regards you, if not suspiciously, then definitely with a impatient kind of expression on his face. Well, what do you want?
How much taller am I than he?
How tall are you?
I think I'm 6'1".
6'1". You are almost twice as tall as Nimblefinger. Okay. He is probably 3 foot, 3'1".
All right, I'm gonna sit down and get to his level. Not nastily. Just say, excuse me, good sir. My friends and I would like to have a word. We heard that you are a fine creator of trinkets and gadgets and all things different, and we had a question for you.
I don't do engagements rings. If you wanted to do something for your friend here, and he kind of looks at the dragonborn with kind of a like look, like he's trying to bait you, and he's like, "Well, what do you want?"
I haven't asked him that question yet, but I pull out 2 pieces of dragon glass, and I say, would it be possible to make these into glasses? 5 sets of glass.
He looks at you suspiciously, and he says, "I can make snow goggles, but thanks to Oral and her depredations here, the sun isn't bright enough to really need glasses like this. And you don't seem as though you know the science and craft of welding. Why do you want them?"
Did you see the comet that flew over not too long ago?
His eyes widen, and he kind of lowers his voice. "Why, what is this to do with the comet that struck overhead not 2 nights hence?"
These, do you know what this is? And I hand them 1 piece.
He said, "Well, it's common obsidian. Of course I know what it is."
It's a devious intent.
What?
Devious intents.
I have no clue what's going on.
I kind of shrug the halfling off. Not everything
What
is.
he's talking about.
He can't. Can I let you in on a little secret? I say this to him.
He's standing there, and he's like, "I hope you would, so I can know what it is you want me to make. Because if you're saying you just want goggles, the only reason you'd want these is to protect your eyes from a bright light, and there isn't enough bright light in the whole of Icewind Dale to require it. So that means you're up to some sort of purpose, some sort of either nefarious purpose, or you're about something interesting, and I am always interested in interesting things, because they interest me."
So,
Do they?
when that passed overhead, I peered through this, and it gave a weird look, gave a different color, gave a different perspective. I want to make them into glasses.
Different look, different perspective, different... So you looked through it, and what did you see?
I describe it in very minute details.
All right, his eyes kind of unfocus as he seems to be imagining in his head, and he looks at the 5 of you, and he's like, "I can, so is it your purpose to go and investigate where the meteor fell?"
We haven't gotten that far yet, but I think that this could help and may help with whatever that was.
Oh, yeah, well, no. Yeah. I think I can help you. I can definitely fashion goggles for you out of them. That's quite easy enough. Do you want them in wood frames or metal frames?
Well, with it being cold, I think it might be better with wood. I think I look at the group. What do you think?
I like the wood look.
I think would be fine.
Whatever's again, I'm gonna leave it to your expertise. But I think if it's gonna be cold on our face, we're not gonna have these on all the time. I think we'll put them on as needed. And who knows? What are we talking price-wise for something like that?
Well, I will have a price and an ask, if you will. And hear me out. When do you want them by?
Yes.
Sooner rather than later. All right, there are
Please.
5 of
Yes.
you. I could fashion these easily enough. It would be 50 coin each to make them and have them ready on the morrow, in the morning. I will work through the night, but I would ask that if you head to the meteorite, if you discover anything unusual, like a G-jaw or artifact or some sort of strange little toy or a bit of machinery, that you would bring it to me first, that I might be able to peruse it. I have a thought, because I don't know if you noticed, but as the meteorite lowered itself over the sky, I was outside having a pipe and I watched the entire path. It slowed. Meteorites don't slow. So yes, if there's anything strange, I've heard stories and legends of similar things and wondrous items that have been found. So if you would bring them to me, I would be more than happy to fashion these glasses for you, for the aforementioned price. But if you bring me something, I would be happy to either refund the price if I get first look, and possibly pay you for whatever you bring me. How does that sound, Elf?
I look at the group. Any objections?
That sounds fair.
That sounds fair.
Absolutely. Any whatchamabobbers. So he bustles back inside of his little workshop, and he comes back with a small, like, notepad and a bit of lead and some wooden calipers, and he beckons you all to lean down, and he, like, measures your skulls, measures between your eye and your ear, measures the width of your nose. Once or twice, he kind of, like, puts his calipers around your biceps, and you see him, like, ooh, you know. And he's like, yes, I will have these ready for you in the morning. Give me 8 hours at the most. Shouldn't be hard enough.
Seems fair.
Very
now,
good.
he said 50 gold per.
Yes, that is correct. So a total of...
Fair enough.
Yes, a total of 300.
250. 5 of us.
Yes. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, and 300. And he kind of points off to his right to an empty space where you guys are standing. And then he looks over and says, oh, you're right, 250.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
If we were to go looking for this meteor, and we promise to bring you first look at anything that we find, is there any information or any thing that could aid us in our quest that would be helpful? You said you've heard things.
Oh, yes. Legends and stories from when I was a boy of similar incidences happening elsewhere, but these were stories decades, hundreds of years old, almost myth, legend mostly, but of strange meteors crashing down and then strange beings being seen, strange tools suddenly appearing, wondrous devices. I've even heard a story of some sort of rod that enabled the person who carried it to discharge some sort of energy, like a magic missile or a guiding bolt spell, but to do it repeatedly and much greater effect without any training in the divine or the arcane. Can you imagine putting the ability to cast magic missile in the hands of a commoner? It would change the politics of the entire region. Yes, it would.
Fair enough. So we'll rest tonight. We'll be back in the morning, and we'll see if we can get you a peek at whatever we find.
Most excellent. All right, I have your
Yeah, I
measurements.
provide him with 50 gold.
I will as well.
I thank you very much. You should come across any, like, loose copper wire. I would appreciate it. I have a need of it. And he kind of looks over his shoulder at the workbench in the low-ceilinged little house. All right. So Nimble Pinks excuses himself and shuts the door that only again comes up to your midriff, and you are left in the dark streets, wind-blown, snowy streets of Bryn Shander. Where do you wish to go?
I think we probably need to head to the North Look. I think that's where we're staying for the night.
All right.
Sounds good.
You
We can
head
get
to
some
the
food
North
and
Look.
before we turn in.
Alrighty. You head back to the North Look, and there is a small crowd of the locals in there. Scramsax, that human who runs the place, sees you and he welcomes you back. The dwarves that you had helped are missing before they're not there. It seems like the locals that are in there are just more wanderers and workers such as yourselves. They're drinking and eating. You notice that it's lighter in there, as though some of that oil has already been sold and distributed for the lamps, and people seem a little bit cheerier this evening. Scramsax brings you plates of roasted knucklehead trout, some thick, tough biscuits, some small, meager tubers and onions kind of mixed up in a mash, and some watered down ale. He seems a little bit apologetic that he does not have anything better as a potable to offer you.
Not a problem,
I,
sir.
I ask him. I ask him what is the reason for the lack of available options in drinks.
He says to you, I don't know. Normally I get most of my potables from the nearby town of Goodmead, but there's been some issues with the deliveries as of late. Road isn't as safe as it used to be, obviously. If I don't see anything in maybe another 10 days, I might see if somebody would be willing to travel up there to check into it. Could be that they have some production problems or something. It's not unheard of, but usually they're not this late. But it shall be fine. I mean, I do have some supplies of ale, but as you can tell, I'm having to water it down to make it last until I can guarantee more spirits for the patrons. And he kind of looks around, realizing maybe he said too much and he wants to make sure nobody overheard him admitting the fact that he's watering down the booze.
Yes. Tell me, is Goodmead south of here, or approximately where it is?
He says, "Oh, aye. From here, Goodmead lies searching the map. Goodmead." He's like, "It's roughly east and a bit south of east, along the east way, and if you cut back along the trail that leads back to Ten Trail, there's a small copse, a small forest by the Redwaters River, and Goodmead just sits maybe a mile off of the shore. It's not as far as all that, half a day by foot, but it's just the trail can be perilous. There's been, raiders seen and stories of Yetis, especially the ones that you guys apparently faced."
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, perhaps in our travels, if we go by Goodmead, we will check in to see if there are anything that we can assist with.
That actually is a very generous offer. Let me stand you to a round in appreciation. And he comes back with more of those watered down ales. As you sit, and Scramsax leaves you to your business, and you listen, you hear that most of the conversation in the room centers around the meteor that went streaking overhead not 2 nights previously.
Can
Is
I
it,
listen in to see if I hear anything interesting?
I was gonna kind of ask the same, but I was gonna try and see if it sounds like any one group or one person maybe has a little bit more insight on what the meteor was, or if it's just speculation. You know, do I sense that there's somebody that has an idea of what they witnessed and not just what do you think of that? You know what I mean?
All right. Give me your perception check, TL.
Yes, I will do that. Oh, this might be bad. Yes, yes,
All
it was
right.
bad.
Hero.
Rolling a 1 is never good. So, okay, perfect. So, yes, anyone else trying to listen and glean any intelligence or information while you listen?
Yeah, I rolled a.
You
13.
did. No, I'm asking the rest of the party.
I'm just gonna listen as well. You want me to roll a perception as well, Sean?
Yes, please.
I'm feeling we should just go roll with that 0 and see where that takes us. I mean,
There you
All
go,
right.
John.
Okay.
John.
So the cleric, as you listen, you hear just all sorts of conjecture. You hear theories that range from it is the Morning Lord angry with Oral's depredations here in Icewind Dale, flinging some sort of great damning fireball trying to warm up the lands, to you hear that it is some sort of perfidious experiment by those damn Durgar out in the east. You hear it's just a meteor, calm yourself, you know. Jahan, you hear a couple of very outdoors types, and they're kind of muttering, and you hear one of them say, "No, it's directly south, I tell you, right at the edge of the spine of the world on the other side of the Red Waters. You follow a flow that leads up into the mountains. I'm positive. I watched where it came down, and I know those lads. That's where I've hunted many a time. I'm sure I saw it as it flashed up. I recognized the peaks." And the other one's like, "Oh, you say things like that all the time." He's like, "No, I'm positive of it."
I'm gonna tell the group what I heard and where this person thought it landed. And is that something we want to go track down? I don't know how far it is. Maybe I could ask that gentleman for a round.
I mean, I have locate object. I don't know if I could use that and then in this
You have
instance.
to be
So
familiar with the object.
right,
And I think it's only a certain distance, right? I think.
1,000 feet.
Yeah. That's what? Fifth
Yeah,
of
it's-
a mile? Right.
Yeah.
Third. No, yeah, about a fifth.
I'm gonna walk up to the table of the gentleman talking, and I'm gonna say to the barkeep, "Sir, could you please give these gentlemen a round on me?" And I'm gonna pull up a chair to the table.
Scram Sachs is like, I can do that. And he comes back with 3 tankards and the 2 kind of outdoor type, very rough and ready, muscular, having that kind of, that look of like hard stamina, you know, men that survive. They kind of eyeball you interestedly as the drinks are put in front of you, and one of them's like, "I thank you for the beverage, friend. What business do you have? Not everyone buys a drink unless, if I miss my guess, you have something you want of us."
Got a question. I couldn't help but overhear you talking about the meteor and
Yeah.
where you believed it to land. I was curious how far you think that is from here.
He looks over at his disbelieving buddy with kind of a like, I told ya, and he says, aye, not more than a score of miles due south of Bryn Shander, up in the foothills where the trees begin to grow again as they climb up into the spine of the world. Back there in the valleys and the notches, I've hunted back there for caribou and elk and occasionally, bear, and I'm familiar with it. It's, I would say, maybe a handful, a dozen miles to the east of the 10 Trail. Due south, not more than 20 mile.
Okay. Thank you so much. And that's all that's the only question that I actually had. And I hope you enjoy your night, enjoy your drinks, and be safe.
He nods and he gives you a small salute with his drink. He's, no, thank you. I always have time for a man willing to stand us to a round.
And I'll tell the rest of the group. Oh yeah.
When Jahan tells us, I ask if he happened to mention how difficult or dangerous of an area, anything that we need to be on the lookout for. Could he possibly be a guide for us?
I don't know. We could always ask him. I'll walk back up with Teal and say, gentlemen, would you happen to guide in that area? We're not really familiar with the area or this town, and we're not sure of the difficult terrain and wildlife of the area. We were wondering if you would be willing to guide us in that direction.
Give me a persuasion roll, please.
For water.
I don't suppose I could help him with that persuasion, and I don't know if there's a way to actually help with that.
I don't want to help John at this point. Nope.
Okay. Are you just kind of sitting over there like nodding?
Yeah.
I will,
All right, sheep scream because the sounds aren't fixed. Me! You've all heard that old joke. Don't listen to the sheep. He's a liar. She's a liar. Yeah. All right, guidance. You cast guidance.
on
And-
John.
On John.
A 10.
He says, well, I've guided expeditions before. I think I'd be willing to do it if the coin were right. What are you offering? And what do you expect?
I look at Teal.
We would expect the most direct route to the location that you think that you saw that object fall to the earth. And any kind of assistance with any kind of wilderness encounters that we would come across in defending ourselves.
Or perhaps just avoiding those encounters.
Yeah, if we can avoid them, that'd be even better.
Do you have a dog team?
We do. 3, if I recall.
I believe we have 2.
2.
He seems to think about it, and he kind of counts, and he taps his chin, kind of strokes that long, scraggly beard, and he says, I'd ask for 2 gold coin, and you'll pay half of it up front, lesson you don't show in the morning.
I
I'll give
pull out.
Fair.
I'll give him 10 gold coin right now.
He looks
Oh
at
boy.
he looks at the money, and he looks at you, and then he looks at the table, and now he seems to be seeing the 5 of you with fresh eyes, and his eyes narrow, and he's like, you're not just curious to see a sight, you are...
You never took us there.
He scoops the money back and he says, "And I won't be in front of the door at dawn."
Perfect.
Welcome to Sam's Closet. Is that okay with
See you in the morning.
That's fine.
He nods. He nods.
We just need to
All right.
but it's Dobby.
Perfect.
Sam's closet? I'm hearing Sam's closet. Okay, so you go to bed, have a long rest.
Perfect.
Yes. And I'll be back in just a moment, guys. Sorry.
All right, all right.
Okay.
So to speed this along, the next morning you find your guide outside the door of the Black Iron Blades. You head to the south part, or outside of the Northlook. You head to the south part of town where Nimblefinger is waiting with the 5 pairs of glasses, and they are made of wood. They're well constructed. They have straps, and they fit over your eyes. When you put them on in the dim half-light of the gray dawn and the blowing wind, it's almost impossible to see anything. And he looks at your guide and he kind of nods approvingly and he whispers up to you, "Remember what we agreed. Remember what we agreed. Safe journey."
Will do. And thank you for your time and your craftsmanship.
I'm gonna go ahead and put dragon glass glasses in my inventory just so I remember I have them.
Go right ahead.
That's a good idea.
Okay, what is that not showing up on the map? There we go.
I'm also, once we get a bit out of town, beyond the doors, and it's just the group and our guide, I'm going to ask him if he suspects that we'll need to be putting on any crampons or snowshoes at this point.
He looks at your dog teams and he looks at your equipment, the snowshoes and stuff, and he shakes his head and he says, "No, it should be easy enough travel. If it landed exactly where I think it is, we shouldn't need any climbing gear. I don't expect any problems. I mean, it has been blowing quite a bit and the snows have never stopped falling, but it should be quite okay."
Fair enough, and I didn't catch your name, good sir.
Because I never gave it, but you can call me Jax.
All right, Jax.
Okay, you head out of Bryn Shender, and your guide Jax, with a expert ease, mushes the dogs and seems to chivvy your own teams along with a speed and precision that you have not heretofore experienced. And you head south away from Bryn Shander. Off to the west, you can see a few silhouetted, shadowy figures along the Ten Trail heading north and south. After several hours of travel, making excellent time, you approach the ice-covered waters of the Redwater River, and then you cross over, and Jax leads you up into the foothills of the spine of the world. He draws up on a rise, pointing up to a slope up above you, maybe 200 or 300 feet, where you still see some sort of steam and smoke rising, and you can see that on the mountains in the back there are trees that have been blasted free of snow, and you see what look to be burn marks on the surrounding rock of the small gulch. It's not really a valley, but it's like a bowl, large raised bowl. And he says, "I know my business. There she lies." And he points up the hill to the crash site.
Mm-hmm. So we're here. I'd like to look around before we head up to see what we can see from here.
I'd like to put my new glasses on and kind of do a bit of the same.
That makes 2 of us.
All right. Putting your glasses on as you look up, before you put them on, you notice that the clouds overhead are dark and swirling and storming, and it's a little bit deeper tone of that half-light that you've become used to here in Icewind Dale. As soon as you lower the cleverly made gnomish dragon glass goggles over your faces, you look up and you see that glowing bowl of orange and like white energy kind of fluorescing and crackling up in a big dome that reaches maybe 60 feet into the air up at the top of the rise. You're not able to see what it is coming from because you are in defilade at the base of the hill. Finn, as you were investigating, what in particular were you looking for?
Just to get an idea of the crash site or what we can see from here, a way up, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. It looks as though the slope isn't treacherous. It's actually rather gentle. Maybe a mere, 30, 45 degrees or so. So you should be able to climb up without too much effort. You'd probably be assisted by your snowshoes, however. Jack stands back and he's like, I can stay back here and watch the dogs. I have no interest to approach myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you, Jax.
All right. So what preparations do you make before you climb the hill?
Put on
After
my
seeing the hill,
snowshoes.
whatever kind of equipment that we think we may need, snowshoes. We have rope on us just in case, I think.
Yeah, crampons.
Yep.
All right. I am double checking one thing so I don't destroy a dramatic moment as I have in the past. All right, you climb up the hill, your breath steaming in the cold air, the snow crunching overfoot. As you gain elevation, your breath comes harder, your lungs kind of burning with the coldness and the effort required to climb the hill. And as you approach, you top the rise, and your eyes are presented with an absolutely wondrous, mind-boggling sight. You see stretched out before you a massive, massive creature, construction, like some sort of gigantic nautiloid shell with long, massive tree-like tentacles stretched into the snow before you. You see that there is damage in the front part of the vessel that looks as though the shell has been cracked and access is permissible into whatever awaits in the dark interior. And I will zoom this out for our folks at home. Here and there you hear pops and cracks of energy, and you see occasional puffs of smoke come rising up from various parts of the vessel, and you see that the light that comes up from it is weird and unlike normal fire explosions. It's purple, and it is greenish and odd in its colors and variations.
I'm gonna put the glasses back on, see if I see anything differently.
You do when you okay? Give me a perception check, and you as well, Teb. Alright, Teb, the snow is so blasted and blown that you do not see any tracks in the area around you. Jahan, wearing those dragon glass goggles, as you look, you see that the energy does seem to come from the rear part of the massive shell, like rear and up, that seems to be where it is centered on. Like there's something up inside that is causing that energy wave to come out.
Okay. I'll let the group know what or I'll just tell the group to look through their glasses and see what I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same results, Dysol. You don't see or notice anything as you search.
Well, gents, do we want to check the structure or?
Yeah, this thing is massive. We, I mean, just when we've got the glasses on, it looks like we really need to get to the rear of this thing.
I don't know if it's to the butt. Or do we go inside and not go around the back?
We could definitely do that.
Does there appear to be an entrance near them? I guess whatever this is, the mouth or
Yes,
something?
yes. Directly in front of you, you can see the damage that has been caused that allows access to the interior of the massive shell.
To get up there, are we able to climb up the?
Yeah,
Is this
it looks like
is
it
this
was
like a ramp? Okay.
Yeah, its tentacles thick and seemingly frozen in the snow. Some of them buried into the icy crust of the surrounding snowfield, and it seems easy enough to climb up inside.
All right, let's do it.
Deep inside the shadows of the chamber, you see like what looks to be like a dripping kind of mess, but it's hard to make out any details due to the differential in the light.
I'm just gonna motion to Finn. You coming, Finn?
Yeah, I'm up there.
Oh, I see you down here.
Oh, sorry, I was moving.
Okay.
I was moving someone else's token.
Oh,
Tab.
yeah.
Appreciate the
Okay,
help, man. Appreciate
Tab's
the
got
help.
to come up here anyway.
All right.
I just grabbed Tab and made him run up there and see if it was safe for us.
Appreciate the scout. I mean, that's great.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Okay, do you enter into the Nautiloid?
I'll
I
stealth
think we
in.
should enter.
Yeah, I'll lead the way. Unless Dysol wants to do any scouting. Otherwise, I will be the meat shield.
Okie doke. Just 1 second. Let me get you
You're
all-
muted, pal.
I just stealthed up, but I'm ready to head in.
All right,
Okay.
let's do it.
And I'll follow.
Give me a moment to get you all moved in.
No problem.
Follow you.
Alrighty then.
I like those flesh sounds on Sirenscape. It's a little scary. It's like when you put a whole lot of sauce in with ziti and you just...
Alright. Ahead of you, you see what can only be described as a large sphincter of purplish muscle that seems to seal off the small snow-strewn chamber in front of you from whatever lies beyond. From the other side, you hear squishing, fleshy, organic noises, drips, and strange sounds. The smell that assaults your nostrils is completely foreign, stringent, and sharp. It has the iron-like tang of blood. It has that stink of bile. It has the smell of other strange and alien fluids.
Push through, Dysol.
What was that?
Push through the
Yep.
purple sphincter
The
wall.
sphincter.
Yeah, I can't get through.
We're in the purple starfish. There's no going back now.
All right. Dysol walks towards the center part of that weird muscle and pushes on through. And let me catch up to us here. If I can find it. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Attached to the walls in this chamber are 3 sets of chains and manacles over weird tanks. A staircase rises to the next deck amid what look to be crates or barrels and broken bits of equipment. Moving amongst the detritus are 4 creatures. 3 of them are small, repulsive purple things that float above the ground and pull themselves across the floor using oversized face tentacles. The 4th is a lumbering monstrosity made of stitched together parts from goblins, dwarves, and reindeer.
Hmm.
They reveal them.
That's gotta be scary looking. It's made of goblins, dwarves, and reindeer.
Yeah. Mummies.
Oh my.
And you see them squishing around, and I think I have handouts for you.
Talk about Wendigo. I can't wait till the Antlers movie comes out.
When the witch movie?
Antlers?
Antlers.
Seen
About
Antlers,
a
I haven't
Wendigo.
heard that.
Yeah, look it up.
It's
The
a movie
trailer's
about
creepy.
a Wendigo.
Wendigo, yeah. It's creepy as hell.
Oh, Wendigo.
Yeah. I always say Wendigo. Is it Wendigo?
It's Wendigo.
Yeah, Wendigo.
Okay.
It's not a
Got a very creepy
dingo.
undertone to it. It's about
There
a...
you go.
Go ahead.
Antlers.
This is the weird little thing that seems to be floating and pulling itself along by those weird, slimy tentacles.
Huh.
You're all
And-
like, whatever.
And we see them?
Yes, you can see them kind of moving along in the further chamber around these like containment pools, and they seem to be cleaning it up. They also seem to be a bit worried. From where you stand, you see that one of the chambers is smashed open and another one is drained and leaking. Inside of the chambers with the manacles and whatnot, you see weird... The only way to put it is they look like oblong, maybe 6 or 7 foot long eggs made of some sort of chitinous material of variated colors that float inside the fluid.
Do they look like they're gonna hatch, or are they moving at all? I'm gonna roll perception.
Yes, please.
And do any of the squidlings notice us? And if not, do they look like they're like menacing, or do they look like they're, if we walk in there, if they're gonna like, can I ascertain if they may attack us if we walk in?
Give me a perception check. And Finn, looking in the tanks, there is a slight shudder in the tanks that seem that whatever is inside is in some sort of bizarre colloidal stasis. Like it's not preserved. Like whatever is in it is still alive. It has its own movement, but whatever it's in is keeping it like preserved, if that's the best way to put it. Jahan, it seems as though the squidlings and that huge fleshy brute have not noticed you yet, as they move about kind of cleaning up the mess and checking those tanks. They're making weird kind of mewling little noises as they work.
Probably don't speak that language.
So let's move in.
Yeah. Let's move in.
I look at Teal. Reach you.
All right, as you move in, they suddenly notice you, and all of them turn towards you and appear to move towards you with what can only be described as hungry movements. Whoops, nobody move. Nobody move. Nobody move. Stop moving. Stop. Ugh. You're killing me, Smalls. There we go.
To be fair, he might be sleeping.
No, I'm awake.
I'm just teasing.
That is some low-key combat music. I want something better.
Oh man, my sirens keep crashing again.
These guys are hungry. Hungry like the wolf.
Hungry for my love.
That's a good song.
Oh, wait, okay, yeah, it was just redeemed. I gotta do it. Unacceptable! There we go. Okay, so the
So,
yep.
if I play the Star Wars song, are you gonna?
You gonna do the
Cantina song? Oh yeah.
You wanna try me? Waiting to see those points get redeemed. You're number one, Bill. You're number one. To which your dungeon master says, and I quote, dun 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 dun.
And then I did
That's
it.
awesome.
It's worth every point.
I have the death sentence in 10 systems. I'm sorry. You'll be dead. Dun 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 dun.
You asked for it, and now you got it. And the bird is applauding.
Right. We have none here at Rhyme of the Frostmaiden, Twitch experiment.
We now have 2 viewers.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you very much, Asking Bard. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Tip your waiter. I'll be here all
Oh
week.
my.
What was I doing? That's right. I was messing with you. I need to get the flesh dude out as well.
And
Killer
the
Kid.
11 o'clock show is completely and entirely different than the 8:30.
Killer Kitten's trying to derail this whole program.
Another sheep scream.
What did... Oh my god. I love you. hits. All right. All right, yeah, so there's this guy, and there's this guy. The gnome squidling, which one turns and sees you?
God.
The little weird tentacly thing appears to finally take notice of you, and...
Did you sort the turnover?
I did.
Yeah, it looks.
I did
Dice
not.
not.
I did not. Okay, there we go. Never mind. Dysol!
Dysol is gonna take aim and fire at the fleshy thing. The one of these thing that's not like the others.
One of these things is not like the other.
And I do have advantage.
You do.
Because I'm
Reacting
hiding.
quickly, the halfling draws an arrow and lets fly. The missile sailing across the cramped quarters of whatever this weird cargo chamber is. The arrow slams into the fleshy construct of goblin, dwarf, and reindeer, and it lets out a low moan as your arrow sinks deep into its bizarre, putrefying skin. What else do you want to do, halfling?
I'm gonna
thank
take
you
a
for
step back.
Following, El Joker do? You
I'm gonna take a step back through John and go ahead and attempt to re-stealth.
All right, moving back and through. Give me that stealth roll. Monk, what do you want to do as the squidlings and the flesh golem turn and start approaching you?
I am going to... Am I on mute? No. I am going to fire my short bow at the flesh golem.
Okay, did we lose Bill off of Zoom?
He might have gotten up
He's
for a
part of
second.
his chair. He must have jumped up.
Very good.
Okay, perfect. All right, you let fly with your short bow at the flesh golem. It too finds its mark deep inside the muscly chest. There is a thwack as the missile sinks deep, and the brute lets loose with another moan of annoyance.
I am going to take one more shot.
All right. You knock another arrow, draw the string back, let fly, and it sails sinking with a sodden, wet thwack in the fleshy, meaty walls of the bizarre alien chamber. Any bonus actions?
No, that is going to be my turn.
All
Thank
right. The huge brute, annoyed at being brought under the attacks. Oh, I missed that. All right. Comes stepping forward, crashing across the chamber towards the Dragonborn. It lifts a massive fist, swinging once, swinging twice at the Dragonborn. Teal, both fists land, blows like being hit by meaty battering rams. The first cracks into your muzzle. You feel a tooth chip as it does 15 points of bludgeoning damage. The second fist crashes into your breastplate. There's a loud gonging sound as a dent in the shape of a massive fist appears, and you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage. All right. The gnome squidling, seeing that its companion has joined the fray, the squidling comes sidling forward, and it seems to be looking around as though it is seeking 1, 2, 3, 4, seeking a target. All right, let me find the templates. Oh, did I not add them again? I thought I added them. I can't even. Somebody tell me to sing a song again. Okay, so that is a 30-foot cone. 1, 2, 3. Out. All 5 of you need to make an intelligence save. Thank you very much, El Joker Do. Everyone say yay! New subscriber.
You said all 5 of us, right?
Hey.
Intelligence
Yes, all
save?
5 of you. You need to make an intelligence save. Dysol, Teb,
Not gonna go well.
John. The Dragonborn.
Don't you get like pluses to something
Nothing that's-
being next to you?
Wow.
No, not this type of paladin.
Never in a million years would I have thought 3 of you would have failed the DC 7 intelligence save. You each take 4 points of psychic damage as the weird tickling of the invading thoughts from that squiggling enter your brain, and your head is filled with images of twisting worms and tentacles and just dark, empty, cold reaches of what you can only think is the Aether Sphere. Finn, what do you want to do? Dysol, you are mute.
Asking Bard just subscribed Twitch Prime.
Asking Bard,
Oh,
thank you, yay!
thank you very much.
I don't know, big applause.
Very
We
good.
appreciate it, thank you. All right, yeah.
Now it's me.
Finn,
Sorry.
it is you.
I was congratulating the sub. I'm going to cast Thunder Wave. It's a 15-foot cone. I will step up and cast Thunder Wave. It should catch these 3.
All right, it is a 15 by 15, correct? Could you link that in there for me, please?
Yep.
Okay, DC 14 con save on all these guys. Group check. Constitution save. Ooh, the Thunder Wave blows out and doing 16 points of damage. And that was meets it beats. Is it a all the way save or half? Or on a fail is
This
pushed.
it's a half on this one.
Okay, so the squiggling in the back is slammed up against the floor, and you see him just go inert, crushed by the magics of that boom that shakes the entire nautiloid. Both the squiggling in front of you and the flesh golem seem rocked by the spell, but are still on their feet. Alright.
That's all I have.
Okay. Alright, that brings us round to Dragonborn. What would you like to do?
As a bonus action, I am going to cast Hunter's Mark on the foe directly in front of me, and I will link that right now. And I will go ahead and make a swing with my sword at him.
You swing
my
with your
God.
sword. Your blade, however, catches the lumbering Hulk and slashes into him. And let's see, that is magical. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. As I feel it hit, I am going to invoke Divine Intervention, or I'm sorry, Divine Smite,
Okay.
and I will cast it at level 2. And no.
Your blade, as it bites into the golem's flesh, suddenly fluoresces with that radiant energy, and there is a booming sound, and you smell the seared flesh as the brute is rocked back from your strike. What else do you want to do?
And I will take another swing at him. Very good.
Oh my goodness. Nat 20 for a crit. Roll damage.
And again, I will invoke Divine Smite.
Alright. Holy, I can't count that high. 32, 50, 55.
Nice.
Wow, your blade sings out glowing white hot as though it had just been removed from some sort of arcane dwarven forge. As the weapon bites, there is a booming sound. Describe how the flesh golem dies.
As I drive my blade into between its neck and shoulder blade, I almost have him as he slides, unmoving, off of my blade.
And lands with a soggy splash in the fluid on
Very
the
good.
floor. Nicely done. Teb!
All right, did we get a rest since we encountered
Yes.
a jock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use meta magic, and I'm going to guiding bolt both these two that I can see here.
Okay.
So first attack,
Okay, the guiding bolt sails out, slamming into both of the small creatures, driving them into the ground, their heads shattering and exploding under the force of your magics. Do you have anything else you want to do?
that's it.
Alrighty. 1 second. Nicely done. Whoops. That was all popping around on me there. Let me clear this. Let me move this, because this is epic! 1 second. As you are standing there, realizing that, yes, we have put paid to these weird creatures, these weird little dark forms here in this alien vessel? Ship? Who knows what it is? You watch the sphincter-like doorway in front of you begin to twitch and twist as though it is about to like rupture, when suddenly the door opens, and on the other side of it you see a tiny little mind flayer. And I will show you what he looks like.
Squidward.
The mini player.
And as you watch, he lifts a strange little device in his hand that is angled and points it right at you, preparing to fire his alien weapon. And that is where we are going to end for the evening.
Nice one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phoenix.
Hey! Thank you, Phoenix Iwaki.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
the cat. Oh, yeah. For those that don't know, our cat, Mango Ravioli, ran away on Friday. So I normally spend Friday and Saturday like getting ready for the stream, and instead I spent it hanging posters and, you know, making sure his microchip was activated and posting on social media and comforting the wife and the daughter, and only to have the little bugger show up last night, 2:30 a.m., smelling like strange cats, you know, cheap rum, kind of a look like meow. It's like, you little... But we are relieved that he is home. We very
Yay.
Good to hear.
Yes.
Home and safe.
Yeah, because as much as I like to complain, because he is a destructive little rascal, we love him. We love him very much. So, well, thank you for popping in. Let's give a big shout out to all of our subscribers today. That was El Joker Do, and it was Asking Bard and Phoenix. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you all for popping in. And thank you to all of our viewers. Asking Bard, Becca, Aiton, DeloTX, Droop Dog, good to see you. Fruitera. Hey, I know Fruitera. El Joker Do, Lacey Lux, Lily Redwolf. Hope to see you guys again next week when we come back in. Phoenix, as always. Big shout out to Phoenix Iwaki. I will put that in chat real fast. And then the rest of them are you guys. I don't know. Do you guys have anything you want to say to the viewers before we...
No, just that we really appreciate you coming.
Thanks so
much. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the support. Thank you.
Really,
you guys are all awesome.
We really do. I mean, we started out because we wanted to try it out, but now we just do it because it's fun. We hope that we are entertaining for you all. I would also like to give shout outs to those people and companies that support our stream. Sirenscape. Epic Games need epic sound. So Sirenscape.com to put a wonderful SFX and ambient music behind all of your games. To Hero Forge, HeroForge.com, where you can custom build 3D miniatures, like this one right here. That's me. Dude. Yeah. Hello. Those are great. And then, of course, the incomparable Travis Savoy of RPG Music Maker, who has produced a lot of the music that you hear on our intros and outros. And last but not least, Patch of Quest Junkies UK, who built our overlays and our intro and outro videos and whatnot. I think that's everything. No new Easter egg at the end of the credits today, just that same recipe, because thanks to the cat, I wasn't able to be clever. But thank you. We will be here next week on the 24th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time to continue the adventure. And believe you me, I have stuff in store for these fools. I know, you're all like, yeah, you always say that. All right, everyone. Phoenix always closes. He says, Oyasumi Nasai. That's his thing. We won't take it. So as we say around these parts, thank God, made it through another one. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
All right, we're clear. We can.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. You know, it's oh God, that's loud. Yeah, I just